What are your thoughts on what we can do to improve the K through 12 education system and to then eventually make college more affordable for people here in the United States?
Yeah, one of the things that we should be looking at very quickly is, I said this when I was running for president. I said this on the south side of Chicago. I was there with a pastor named Corey Brooks, preaching at his church, and I focused on the fact that everybody in the country, save people living in poverty, have quality education options on the table. If you're the richest Americans, you send your kid to the premier private school you can find. If you are middle income or affluent Americans, you choose the neighborhood with the best schools, and then you move into those neighborhoods. It's only the poorest Americans who do not have quality K through 12 education. One of the fastest ways for us to improve that is to allow for some form of school choice to be a part of the education apparatus in our poorest areas. The good news is 72% of African American parents, 68% of Hispanic parents, about 80% of Asian parents, and overall 82% of blue collar parents all agree with some form of school choice, whether that's charter schools, private schools, some hybrid of public schools, parochial schools. Giving the parent more choices will give the kid the best chance to succeed in life. And that is the fastest way for us to improve the plight of K through 12 education. Classic example, before she passed away, Senator Feinstein and myself, Cory Booker, and Senator Ron Johnson, four of us, two Republicans, two Democrats, worked on school choice through the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program that's been around for decades. We, four of us, took that on as a way of extending the life of it. And we've seen tremendous success through those charter schools in DC. We have some, New York City has some strong charter schools called the Success Academy. What we've seen in both of those examples is that the graduation rate for those kids from high school is over 90%, comparatively speaking, with between 48 and 54% for the non-charter school students. Number one. Number two, college attendance is about 60% higher, comparatively speaking, and the grades obviously reflect that as well. So it's a fast way for us to get there. On the higher education, I spent 10 years on the education committee, having been the kid who was struggling in high school. I'm sure you guys all graduated cum laude. I graduated thank you laude. Someone had to be at the bottom of the 50%. That was where I found my unhappy self. But one of the things I learned along the way was, if we're going to improve the opportunities of higher education, then we have to look at community education as a real alternative. So in South Carolina, Tennessee, and many other states, you can get your first 2 years of college paid for free. Go to a community college, and then in those states, your college credits transfers to Clemson University, or if you're a smarter person like me, Carolina Gamecocks. Since I'm a fan, you can go there as well. To my Clemson fans, I'm sorry, y'all have too many national championships. I just had to put a plug in for the Gamecocks. So you can go to some of those schools and get a really good education and pay half the price for your 4 years of education. Second thing you can do is look at what we've done for HBCUs. When we were in the midst of COVID, we canceled the debt, led by myself and others on the team. We've canceled $1.4 billion of HBCU debt, and then took it to the highest level of funding in the history of the country and made that funding permanent. Because one of the things I recognize is, if you want to focus on making a profit, and that has to be a part of the deal looking forward for our community specifically, you have to make sure that the kids are lifelong learners. And those kids who are coming from disadvantaged communities, disadvantaged schools, have access to the type of training to get up to speed, so that you can then have 4 good years of quality education. And so we focused attention on some of those institutions that felt a part of their mission was helping the underserved. And so we focused on that. So those are 2 really good ways of reducing the cost of education in our nation long term. But let's just be honest. The person who graduates from school today has about $35,000 of college debt. $35,000 of college debt translates into about $2 million of additional lifetime income. that translates into a deal I would say yes to if I couldn't do it any other way.